My name is Hannah, and this is my no-buy year. So over the past couple of months, I've become a close and active follower of the makeup rehab subreddit. If you are trying to do a no-buy or a low-buy of any kind, and you're not following the makeup rehab subreddit, what are you doing with your life? Get over there and start reading some posts, start commenting some comments. It's amazing, and in many ways it's kind of a lifesaver. I'm so happy that I discovered it thanks to some of you who started posting about my channel over there. So I went over there and I started reading and I got totally hooked, and I'm on there reading and commenting every day now. Anyway, it was due to the makeup rehab subreddit that I became aware recently that LUSH has just re-released a bunch of their old shower gels in new limited edition runs of large size bottles. And I believe that they released them through a LUSH offshoot called The Kitchen. It's like a semi-secret LUSH store for LUSH aficionados. There were a number of posters on the makeup rehab subreddit over the past week, basically saying, help me. I'm so tempted to spend every last dime I have and then some on bottle upon bottle upon bottle of LUSH shower gel that I know that I won't even be able to use up before they go bad, but I want to buy them anyway. I'm feeling compulsive. I don't know how to keep myself from buying all of this shower gel. Posts of this nature are on the subreddit every day. There are people basically calling to the community to swoop in and be the voice of reason for them and talk them out of buying something that they don't need. So the nature of the post wasn't surprising, but what surprised me was that there were so many posts that were specifically about these LUSH body washes, one right after another, surrounding the release. And everyone was saying the same thing. They were saying, I feel so addicted to LUSH. I'm completely addicted to LUSH. I can't stop myself. So it just got me thinking, what is so addictive about LUSH? And I do speak from experience here because I was, in my past pre-no-buy year life, quite the lushy. I was one of those people who could walk into the store and tell you everything about every product just as well, if not better, than any salesperson. And I spent way too much money on LUSH, especially when I lived in Michigan where it was cold and I was indulging in baths almost all the time to warm myself up and to comfort myself in the cold, cold winter. I was a lushy. I think I can even confidently say that I was kind of addicted to LUSH in that I would compulsively spend way more than I knew was appropriate for me at LUSH many times a month. It's so embarrassing. And it's so cuckoo looking back. I would sometimes go one weekend, and then I would go again the next weekend and buy something else, and then I would go again the next weekend and buy something else. I didn't always do that. It wasn't always every weekend, but it was like that. It's absolutely cuckoo to think about right now. I'm not saying you're cuckoo if you do that. The whole point of this video is to examine why I did that and why you might be doing that and why LUSH is so addictive. By unpacking it, by laying all the cards out on the table and understanding how a company, a specific company that sells specific products, is creating such lust in us, by understanding that, we can start to get control over it. So I'm hoping that this video might be helpful in that way to some of you and also to my future self at the end of my no-buy year when I venture back into LUSH. Off the bat, I just want to say that I love LUSH. I love LUSH. And this is not a LUSH bashing video. If you have come here to see LUSH bashed, or you have come here to defend LUSH with your last breath, neither of those things will be appropriate because I'm not here to bash LUSH. I think that a thing can be good, can be genuinely wonderful, but not wonderful to overspend on. Overspending is never good, and you can overspend on a good thing. And I think that that is what's going on with some of us with LUSH. So I just wanted to preface with that so that there is no mistake. Let's get into the meat of the video. The first reason that I think LUSH is so addictive is that scent is so evocative. I believe that studies have shown that scent is the most evocative sense, meaning that if you smell something that you smelled in your childhood, and then a couple minutes later you see something that you saw in your childhood, the moment of smelling something that you smelled in your childhood will bring you back the most sharply and powerfully. The smell is the thing that will help you remember it the most. I believe this to be true just based on the evidence of my own life, and I've also definitely, positively, I feel like, read about it, like that it's science or something. If you know, please leave that in the comment section down below. Anyway, science or no science, smell is incredibly evocative. We know that. And the scents of Lush products are so unique and wonderful and strong. Also, they're really strong. And for those of us who love scent like I do, just nothing stacks up to Lush. It's so wonderful. And if you love scent and if you have a sense of self-care, if you're trying to take extra good care of yourself so that you can be the most effective version of yourself, there's something about the evocative nature of those Lush scents, the level of evocativeness in the scents that makes us feel like nothing else will do. And this was so true for me. I would just feel like I absolutely have to have these scents in my life. I have to smell them. I have to keep smelling them. And I would feel this way, you know, at home ordering online, but I would really, really feel this way if I went into the store. So I would pick something up, I would smell it, and fireworks would go off in my brain and my heart and my memories and my future and my sense of self and my sense of beauty and my sense of specialness, and the whole world would swirl around me, and I would just feel like I cannot live without this scent. I need to smell this again and again and again. Even if it costs $12 and it will only last for 4 baths, I'll pay the $12 and I'll pay it again next weekend and I'll pay it again next weekend because I have to have this smell in my nose and on my body. Scent is powerful. And again, this isn't a bad thing or a good thing. It's not like a moral issue. It's just reality. It's like scent gets us, especially some of us. Especially those of us with the artistic bent, with the passionate soul, the romantics. Scent gets us like nothing else. It reminds us of life. And Lush just, they know how to deliver that. They deliver it in every way, shape, and form. They deliver it at a high price tag, and we are just willing to pay it. So as simple as it is, that's reason number 1. Lush is addictive because scent is what they sell, and scent is so evocative. Reason number 2 that Lush is so addictive is that their products are amazing and they work. And this is related to number 1, because one of the things that makes the products amazing is that they smell so good. But we already handled that in reason number 1, so let's cover the rest of it in reason number 2. Your body feels so good, the lotions work really well, the baths are amazing, the colors are amazing. It's just a luxurious and delicious experience to use their product. And the scrubby things that you scrub on your body, they make you feel really smooth. And the cocoa butter that you melt on your body in the shower makes your skin really moisturized. I talked about this in my video about how to moisturize your body without using lotion, because I hate lotion. And Lush, they've nailed it. They sell these pots of kind of gelatiny cocoa butter type stuff that you smear on your body in the shower, rinse off, pat dry, and you're perfectly moisturized without lotion. And side note, you smell amazing. They have just nailed it on so many levels with their products. The shampoos work really well in my experience. So many brands are kind of hit or miss for me, or really excited me at the beginning and then I kind of lost interest over time. And it's just not like that with me for Lush. Everything that I've tried from them is top of the line pretty much in terms of how the things perform. That's a good reason for something to be addictive. And again, I'm not passing moral judgment or something, kind of the opposite. It's like, yeah, it's okay to admit that you're really into something because it's amazing, but that is a problem for you. The thing itself doesn't have to be bad or subpar. So it might be painfully obvious that I'm speaking as a Lush lover here, but reason number 2 that Lush is so addictive is that their products are amazing and they work. All right, now we're getting into the good stuff. Reason number 3 that Lush is so addictive is that they disguise their luxury pricing with packaging. This is one that it took me a little while to figure out. The packaging and marketing of Lush are ingenious. They make you feel like you're buying kids stuff, like you're buying something kind of chunky and hippie and handmade, which they are handmade, but they're also kind of a corporation. But you know what I'm saying? The black pots with the writing scrawled on it as if someone scrawled it on a chalkboard, the soap that's wrapped in paper, the little paper bags, everything's like a little bit messy, a little bit off the cuff. That packaging is designed that way for a reason. It's supposed to look handmade, like something that you're buying at the county fair. It is in line with their business practices and with the way that the company functions, but it's also designed to make you feel like you're not buying something that's luxury. Lush doesn't feel like a luxury brand. We don't talk about it that way. When you start thinking about luxury bath and body, luxury skincare, Lush isn't really on the list. It's like its own separate category of something really fun and childish and cartoonish and gooey and lovely and yummy and accessible. It's accessible to everyone because they design it to look that way. But if you were to assess luxury brands based on price, like how much does this moisturizer cost per ounce, Lush would be right in there. The stuff is expensive. It's luxury pricing. When you look at the soap, one normal sized bar of soap can cost $20, $25 at Lush, depending on which kind you get. I mean, that's bananas. Like, what bar soap costs that much? And there are like little jars of fluffy shower smoothie that you smear on your body that are like $35, $40 for that. I mean, that's a lot. When you look at the size of the container that you're getting, that's a luxury price. It's a luxury brand. Before my no-buy year, I would sometimes go to the mall. Not sometimes, frequently. I would go to the mall on the weekend and I would go to Sephora and then I would go to Lush and then I would poke around and then I would go home. And you could find me in Sephora agonizing over like a $15 eyeliner. I'd be like, oh, I don't know. It's so nice. It's so fancy. Do I need this fancy thing right now? Do I need to spend this money? And then I would go to Lush and I would drop like $80 just on bath bombs and soap and maybe a shampoo. I would just pile stuff into my cart like I was at a candy store, a really expensive candy store. And I felt like that because of the way that the store was designed and the way that everything was packaged, and somehow I just let the total of everything that I ended up paying kind of fly under my internal radar because I didn't feel like I was making luxury purchases, so I didn't feel like I was making unwise purchases. It didn't really feel like splurging. It felt like the appropriate kind of self-care for someone at my income level because that's how the packaging was designed. But it wasn't. If you looked at the amount that I was spending every month, it was not the appropriate amount of self-care for someone at my income level. And I see that now very clearly, and I know exactly why I was tricked. It was the packaging. Reason number 4 that Lush is so addictive is because we enjoy being conscientious consumers. And again, this is something that I love about Lush. This is like a weird, twisted Lush, anti-Lush commercial on YouTube. I don't even know. I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to do. Anyway, we enjoy being conscientious consumers, and Lush is an incredibly conscientious company. Everything is fair trade, everything is sourced in a way that's kind to the earth. They don't test on animals, and they're very public about that. You can feel good about buying from Lush in all of those ways. And I haven't done the most extensive research in the world, but it is something that I pay attention to. When I make a purchase from Lush, I feel like I'm making a good choice when it comes to animal cruelty, when it comes to being eco-friendly, just in general, those kinds of ways in which I would like to be a more conscientious consumer. All the boxes are checked with Lush. And I like that. So that draws me to Lush, and that drew me back and back and back to Lush over and over again for good reason. However, this is what I'll say. They're not a nonprofit, you guys. They're a company for profit. If you have no soap and you need soap, then their policies are a good reason to buy your soap from them. But if you have soap and you don't need more soap and you go to Lush and buy a bunch of extra soap, that's not going to help the animals. All it's going to do is deplete your bank account and you'll end up with more soap than you can use. So reason number 4 that Lush is so addictive is that we love being conscientious consumers, which is great. And it's great that they're such a conscientious company, but it's not a good reason to spend beyond your means. And reason number 5 that Lush is so addictive is that they capitalize on FOMO. They trigger our fear of missing out. And this is one that I have become acutely aware of recently, reading the posts on the makeup rehab subreddit from people who were afraid that they were going to end up buying way more shower gel than they could ever use, simply because they were afraid of missing out on smelling the scents, owning the scents, and being able to wash their bodies with all of the different smells that Lush had re-released for a limited period of time. So this is a very common tactic. It's used widely across the makeup industry. There's the fear that something will sell out. There's the knowledge that something is limited edition. We're so familiar with the way that these tactics work on us. And I know that I'm not the first to talk about resisting the urge to buy something simply because it's limited edition. And again, it's great that the products are handmade in small batches. It's great that they're fresh. Everything about what makes them limited edition is an asset to the products and it's an asset to the company, but it's not an asset to us if it triggers us to overspend and to overbuy these products because we can't stand the idea of not having every single one or of not having the ones that are limited edition. When I was reading post after post on the makeup rehab subreddit from people who were asking the community to help talk them out of overspending on Lush, fear of missing out of these limited edition scents was probably the biggest reason, the biggest factor that was driving them to feel like they wanted to buy more Lush than they could ever use in a lifetime. So, Lush can be addictive. It can be problematically addictive for some of us. So what do we do with this information? How can we use this information to help us untie and unbind ourselves from the desire to buy more and more from this company, more than we can afford and more than we can use? My answer to that is just that we can use this knowledge to catch ourselves in the act. So the next time you're about to lay down your credit card for an incredibly expensive bottle of lotion that smells amazing because you just have got to smell that smell every day of your life and you just have got to put that smell all over your body, you have a little red flag now. You can think, oop, scent is so evocative and right now it is evoking my desire to pay a lot of money for it. Can I really afford this? Can I really afford to let my deep pleasure in this scent cost me $35? And simultaneously, you can say, why do I feel like it's okay to spend this amount on this bottle of just lotion when I won't spend that amount on an eyeshadow palette I really, really want? Is it because of the packaging? Is it because the packaging is tricking you into thinking that you're buying something affordable when in fact the dollar amount does not line up with that perception? These little flags can go up and stop us in the act if the act we're about to commit is a kind of overspending that will inevitably, essentially, make us unhappy. I hope this was helpful. I personally find it very useful to examine why I love the things that I tend to overspend on, or that I tended to overspend on before my no-buy year, because if I can break down the reasons why they are so attractive to me specifically, and why they trigger my compulsion to spend beyond my means, then I can take a good hard look at those reasons, those factors, those triggers, and it's much more easy for me to see through the haze of desire when the desire is upon me. So I thought I would make this video to give some of you the tools to do that, specifically with LUSH, but also if LUSH isn't your issue, if LUSH isn't one of the things that you love or one of the things that you overspend on, then maybe you can use this method, apply it to the things that you do have a problem with, and hopefully create some little red flags for yourself to stop you in the act. And again, I hope it was clear, but I have nothing against LUSH. I just have something against spending beyond my means, and I have something against you guys spending beyond your means and disempowering yourselves. That is it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and don't forget to take extra good care of yourself this week so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work in the world.